Titanium might be my new favorite metal for watches. Welcome back to the channel for Right Time Watches here in Denver, Colorado. Today we're looking at two magnificent titanium wristwatches, each from Hamilton in the same family, but coming in with different dials and a different size. These come from the Khaki Mechanical lineup, but before we dig into all the details, we'll invite you to subscribe to our channel so you catch all of our upcoming videos. The first model has a 38mm diameter with a 45.4mm lug-to-lug. It's 11.6mm thick and powered by an ETA Powermatic movement. The second is 42mm in diameter with a 51.6mm lug-to-lug. Still just 11.6mm thick and has the same ETA Powermatic movement inside. The Khaki Field lineup from Hamilton is an incredible series of watches, and I think they've taken it a step further by adding these amazing titanium cases. That super light metal, in combination with the fact that these are relatively thin watches, make these incredibly wearable, and Hamilton did a great job by offering this in multiple sizes, so even me with an 8-inch wrist can wear this 42mm model, and many others can enjoy a smaller model also, if that's to their taste. I'm a huge fan of the dial tone and texture on these two watches. It's got a bit of an earthy look to it, and I think it's a perfect complement to the way that brushed titanium looks. The overall DNA of the watch is maintained between this and previous Khaki Field models, with that 12-hour chapter ring around the outside, as well as a 24-hour indicator on the inner ring. Hamilton also keeps the durability of these watches with their predecessors, with them both being 100 meters of water resistant with sapphire crystals over top of the dial. Both models also have a screw-down crown, and I think these watches just about check every box that a standard enthusiast would want to see on an amazing watch. The case design of these watches is relatively simple and straightforward, which I think makes them a bit universal and enjoyable for many different individuals. We've got a brushed flat side, which wears nicely at either size, a slightly domed sapphire as I mentioned before, and of course a very legible dial. I'm personally a huge fan of this vintage Hamilton H on the right side of this crown. I think it throws back to their history, and that's an enjoyable nod for me. I also really like Hamilton straps as they're always quite durable, and they have the double tang H-style buckle, which makes them very secure when on the wrist. The suede strap is also very attractive on these models, and a good match for the dial tone. We do have a see-through caseback on these models, which is always enjoyable, especially for affordably priced watches. It's got that H10 movement inside, which as I mentioned before, is manufactured by ETA and has an 80-hour power reserve. The look is quite similar for this larger model, though we've got a different coloration on the strap and on the dial itself. The proportions wear just a little bit different, as the case feels thinner because it's broader, but it does have the same thickness as the 38mm model. I personally love that. I think a nice, thin watch is very wearable, especially on a strap. That way it doesn't weigh too much compared to the weight of the strap. Speaking of the strap, this has a very nice, soft texture to it, and a beautiful color to boot. I'm ever impressed by Hamilton construction considering the money you pay for the watch. We do have solid lume on these dials, and we've got the 1 through 12 hour markers illuminated in addition to the hands. Here's the 42mm model on my 8-inch wrist. You can tell it looks right at home as it is a bit of a broader watch, but again, the thickness is extremely enjoyable and the titanium construction makes this wear feather light. The 38mm model is not quite big enough for my wrist, but it's going to look good for so many. If you've been thinking about adding a Hamilton to your collection for quite a while, as I know some people do, this would be a great one to get your hands on with. I think this embodies everything that's great about the Field Mechanical line, but it also adds a new element of this beautiful dial color and of course the featherlight titanium. Once again, putting all this together at under $1,000 is such a great move. It makes having a titanium wristwatch very attainable, especially while still getting a nice ETA movement inside. For my money, of course, between the two, I would go 42 because of my larger wrist, but either way you go with this wristwatch family, you're going to enjoy it because it's just a rock-solid watch. Just like most watches from Hamilton, these bad boys are gorgeous, well-built, and affordably priced. If you'd like to purchase one of these or any of our other watches, please visit us online at righttime.com or give us a call. We're always happy to help. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time at Right Time.